Here.
Joel England.
Honey.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
Frankie Hargis. Wanda Hatfield. Honey. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lay.
Here.
Mike Shambaugh. Keo Smith.
Here.
Denise Taylor. Here. Victoria Vesquez. Honey. Larry Walkingstick.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, I move for their approval. Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve our minutes from our last meeting. All those in favor, please reply by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Same sign? Okay, minutes pass. Okay, old business. Discussion only, loss of providers in Cherokee National Health, and this is sponsored.
You gotta go reports. You gotta go reports.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm skipping ahead. Reports. George, are you here? I didn't see you.
I'm here in his face.
Oh, well, good. Thank you.
Think you're going to skip. That's good. Well, I wanted to start off by telling you that our air handler down by the emergency room, that replacement went well. It's all finished. So we're back, our hallway's back open by the ER, and our entrances are all back open. That went really well as scheduled. So, and also in October we had our first pink out day for the hospital. We all wore pink. We decorated the different departments pink in honor of breast cancer awareness, and it was really an awesome awareness event. It was really good. So we're going to continue to do that annually. And we had our employee appreciation fall festival, and that's always an awesome time. Fed the employees and their families and their little kids, and had booze and handed out candy and trick or treat, and it was a good time. So we do that. We've done that for a few years now, so that's a good event also. And we have another surgeon, a new surgeon coming soon. I believe he'll be here in December or January, Dr. Wyatt. So we're pumping up our surgery department. And that's all I have. If anyone has any questions or.
Where's Dr. Wyatt from?
He is, I'm not really sure. He is in private practice. I want to say he's from Texas. So he's had to close his private business down, and it's taken a little while to get all those moving parts fixed. But yeah, he's in private practice in Texas, I believe, but I could be wrong.
Very good. Any questions from council? Yes, Janice.
Okay, so from the report it says remodel work for women's health processing period. Mm-hmm. ER remodel has been awarded.
Yes. We've been going through this process for a while. I believe last I heard that the construction, the remodel has gone, and it has been awarded to the contractors. It was well over $1 million. The bids came back, so it had to go to headquarters to be approved. I don't have a start date or anything like that. It will be next year sometime.
Okay, is that two independent projects, women's health and
yes.
ER, or is it all together? And are they in the same bid package?
No. Women's health I believe is finished.
Oh, okay.
So they're two separate things.
Okay, and then we will start on the ER
yes.
probably next year.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. And that'll be a complete gut remodel.
Good. Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Dick. Councilor Lee, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Chewing the Tums. Sorry. So if the bid's over $1 million at Claremore, can you all do your own signatures for under $1 million?
Yes, under $1 million that goes to area office. We at Claremore can't do that, but area office can handle under $1 million. Over that, it goes on up.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Yes.
I had asked, I think 2 months ago, to get the names of this people I could write to about Are people going to Oklahoma City for ortho yet? I don't think I've got that name. Would you send that to me?
I will, yes. I believe it's the CEO over at Hillcrest Claremore, but I will
If
get
you email
that
that to me, I'd
Sure.
like to write a letter, because this has been going on for almost a year now. And you still have people going to Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
The other thing I asked George, on the outpatient visits, I see them by month, but I'd like to have a total of what they are.
Okay,
You know, like-
okay, instead of monthly, a running total
You
or
can,
a
I
yearly.
can have the
Okay.
monthly running total, but also the total for the year.
Okay,
So
sure,
I can see that for some comparison.
sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for your report. We
Thank
appreciate it. And now we'll hear the reports for Cherokee Nation Health Services. Connie Davis.
Madam Chair, if I could for one moment, I do have an announcement to make. Connie Davis has submitted her resignation. She is going to devote some more time to her family, particularly her mother. We certainly appreciate her service. Dr. Grimm has been named interim Executive Director of Health effective immediately. So I wanted to make the council aware of that. With that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Grimm.
Thank you.
And you all have our report. I know there's still a lot of questions that we didn't get to last time. I'm just going to make one quick announcement. We have hit a all-time record of 490 surgeries this past month. You know, we hover into the high 300s, low 400s. That's really, really great. We've been able to do that. It's good for our patients, good for the community, and just wanted you to know about that. That is not in this month's report. Of course, you'll see it in a month or so down the line, but I will take any questions that the council has, Madam Chair.
Dr. Graham, we look forward to your leadership in the health department. You've been a proven leader for years and your years of expertise, and we know your relationships at the higher level in Washington, D.C., and we look forward to good things out of you. Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Chair.
Thank you. Councilor Lake?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Dr. Grimm, what's the status at NOWADA and Oshaleta on providers that we're looking for?
I did bring one person with me today, actually more people as you can see, but I knew in case you wanted to talk about some of the issues on loss of providers and things. This is our resident expert. I think most of you know her, Miss Stephanie Wycliffe, and if I could turn the speaker over to her, I'll let her answer any and all questions that you all might have.
I wonder, I think y'all were interviewing for another Stephanie at one time. Did that ever come about, or another recruiter?
Were we? I didn't know about that. That was one of those things. You're gonna have to give me some time to get caught up.
And
Recruitment was not under me as whenever I was.
And forgive me, it was mentioned in committee once, and it been several months ago, so I just thought I'd
We have had another recruitment position open, and it's in process right now, pending the acceptance. And so I can't divulge the names at this time, but that's moving forward, so it's very positive. But in regards to Oshaleta and NOWADA, we do have a very strong candidate there that we're waiting on acceptance, hopefully this week. We were back doing another visit with this person on Thursday.
Oshaleta.
And for Tuskegee.
I'd just like to add too that our recruitment department has been doing an outstanding job. As soon as we know a provider is going to be leaving, they are already on top of it. We're able to advertise in multiple venues outside the normal HR process, and we've talked to you about some of those in the past. 3RNet and others, so that as soon as we know something's going to happen, we can get that out, even if our internal process lags a little bit. So Stephanie and her staff have been doing an outstanding job on things like that.
Well, the one thing that has helped us is the compensation, and just we have been extremely busy the past month. And one of the new tools we're using is Doximity, kind of been called the LinkedIn for doctors. You're not familiar with it. And, last week I spent one day sending out 158 new doc mails to specific providers in this area. And actually we generated a couple of leads even for Jay just last week. So it's really helped us tremendously turn the corner with people contacting us, not us always contacting the person, and that has been the dramatic change within the past month.
I want to say the numbers, and Stephanie can correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a survey done recently, and I think it is 70% of residents that are getting to graduate are contacted by at least 50 different organizations, and 50% are contacted by over 100. Or did I get those numbers mixed up? You're not ready? I'm putting you on the spot. At any rate, the point is, no matter what the numbers are and whatever the surveys say, the physicians that are coming out of residencies right now are getting contacted by a lot of organizations. And we are doing a really good job holding our own, trying to fill the ones as they become vacant. And we continue to stay either at or below what the national norm is for organizations our size. So we're doing a really good job. And we try to have this latest report, because the one you have in your current report was effective, I think it said like 9/19/17 or something to that effect. And so, we'll try to bring these most recent ones as we've continued to do, because we know that's important to you, it's important to your communities, and certainly important to us and our health system.
When you get, excuse me.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
When we've got an opening in Millwater and Oshaleta, and there are other openings, I think, Jay, and I think almost every clinic needs a doc or a provider of some type. And so there's probably only a small community of folks who want to come to Eastern Oklahoma to doctor or to provide. And so when we get those, and we've had them internal already and we've lost them, I'll just do away with that discussion later. I'll just do it now. And that's been really painful and frustrating, and for this council and for me especially, to watch it happen. And I don't know if you can ever reel them back in, but at some point, somebody needs to consider that. That's one message I like to give to you. And the other thing is that in Millwater we used to have 3 docs. Now the scale, or what I'm seeing is we're down to, we need 2. And when it takes 6 months to get an appointment at my 2 clinics, and probably the others also, and of course you got the call, I always hear, well, they can always call in the same day. Well, there's only about 3 of those. When you got 1 doc, there's only about 3 of those appointments about 3 or 4 days a week. That's pretty limited. And so I don't know how I lost a doc at Millwater. I had 3, and now you guys tell me I only need 2. And I know you changed the provider list to do an extra PA instead of a doc. But trust me, my constituents, our constituents, are telling you and me both that, hey, it's taken me 6 months to get an appointment. And so I'd like for y'all to reflect on that one too, just a little bit. I'm being told by folks who work, in these various clinics, and I've hit them all, to be honest, that we could use more docs than you've got slotted. And that, of course, trickles down to another nurse, another staff. And pretty soon you don't need 6 months to get an appointment. You can get one a little quicker. And it looks like to me, we've always, and I've been in your meetings to where, we're talking about a moneymaker. when it goes down from a doc to a provider to a nurse to, it just keeps going down. And you and I have talked, Dr. Grimm, about how my insurance gets hit or does not, or whatever, on the Medicare and so forth. It kind of surprised me how much. Anyways, these things can generate funding.
Yes.
And if you don't have a doc, you can't generate the funding. So I guess I'm confused and frustrated about, first of all, I lost a doc, a slot apparently at Nowata. I don't have one at Cooey now. I don't have one at Nowata. And those openings have been there for a long time. The openings at Nowata, we knew we were going to lose them back last year. And so we lost them like we knew we were going to. And I was told, oh, don't worry about it. We'll send you some locum tenens. And I don't want to go through all that again, but one of those walked out, and you walked out one of them. And so we now have a do not hire locum tenens list against people that we're not going to hire again. So the frustration of my constituents and you and me and everybody on this council just keeps boiling over. And you know, we finally got the pay raise through, and then I hear the pay raise, some group lost leave, and then they said, oh, we're sorry, that contract was not correct. You did not leave, so we had to go back and redo a contract, apparently. Is that true, or?
I can't answer in detail because I don't know the exact nature of it, but yes, it is.
Okay.
It was sent out, it was pulled back, leave was put in and sent back out, and that's one of the reasons that some of the providers have just gotten those contracts within the last week or so.
What I'd like to impress upon you all here today is that when I see a person from a Cherokee citizen who grew up in the jurisdiction with not a lot of money behind him, and who had the brain power to not only get into med school, but get through it, and want to come back and serve and provide Cherokee citizens and Native citizens, and then became frustrated enough to leave the system just maybe when we were about to get control of it. That just tears me up. You know, that's just, I don't get it. And somebody should have been a little more on the ball with these issues. We've lost, not just one, we've lost 102 providers, not all of them citizens, but when you lose a provider, period, much less a Cherokee citizen, that's just not, it's just so frustrating. Some people call it dumb. I may have a time or two. And so you just can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect change. We've got to, and we're starting, I think, to get a hold of it with the pay increase, but we've got to also stop and consider that each one of those providers is an individual, and they have individual needs. One of them needs this, one of them needs that, and they don't grow on trees. You just got through telling me they don't grow on trees, and everybody's out there trying to get them. So we need to try to take care of them.
I hear you loud and clear, and I heard what you said last time as well. It's very troublesome to me and to everyone in our system that has to deal with that. And believe me, we'll take it and make sure that everybody in a role, in a leadership role, dealing with our physicians, hears that message. A lot of them are probably watching us right now, you know, talking about it. I mean, it kills me too whenever we lose a Cherokee, you know, nation citizen who, no matter what role they're in, you know, in our health system, but especially the ones that are physicians, you know. So we'll do everything we can to help prevent that in the future.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Counselor Day,
I'm actually going to pass.
You're going to pass? Counselor Warner?
Thank you. Well, first of all, I mean, I kind of come in and it's surprising. I'd like to thank Miss Davis for her service to the Cherokee people. I know she was tasked with the job, and I think she put her best foot forward, and she was always willing to answer my calls and the other things. So bravo for her to go and spend time with her mother and things like that. I think a lot of times we sit at this table and other things, and you forget about those people that you got families outside of what we do here. I mean, the gravity of what we do here is very heavy, but a lot of times we've all got things going on the side, and it's always good to get an understanding of that. Some of the things that her and I had talked about, are we still going on looking at a long-term plan, Doc, as far as what we've got coming on the hill with building the new clinic? And what I'm talking about is specialized care. I know everybody thinks we need, when we look at our cardiologists, our endocrinologists, and all those things, are we looking at a plan to see what can we handle? Because even though I know we're building this enormous facility, but do we know what we can handle and what we can't, what we need to farm out? Are we still looking at that?
Yes, we are, and we'll continue to look at that, up until it opens and even afterward. Whenever we plan the new facility, and I won't be able to name them all off the top of my head, but I think we're going to have between 8 and 10 new specialty types that we've never had before. We also made sure that when we worked with the Indian Health Service to get those, that we didn't have just a single provider of any one of those types. So the minimum number that we'll have in any department, hopefully at full recruitment, is 2. So endocrinology is one of those, nephrology is one of those, neurology, cardiology, orthopedics, GI. I'm not going to be able to remember them all. And some of those have more than 2. Right. Some of them are 2, some of them are 5 of those types of providers. And so yes, we're looking very closely. Once, we are developing the clinic to house that type of provider, but we made this clinic very flexible in the way we can change things around. All the pods, if you will, of clinic design look very similar, so that if we want to move things around, we can do that fairly easily. So for example, if we wait multiple years and haven't been able to recruit to whatever, and we decide we want to switch to 2 other kind of specialists, or put them in a different department, we have the flexibility to do that. Once the Indian Health Service gives us that money, then it goes into our compact, and we have the right to reprogram it however we want. We really want to try to be able to offer that full range of specialty care, and essentially we'll have new ORs in that clinic, and so some of these people will also be surgical as well as clinical types of specialists. So yes, we are continuing to work on it. We'll, up until after it opens, and for years to come, we'll be watching that.
Well, and it just, in my mind, when you're dealing with the amount of diabetics that you see with the Native American population, then your specialized areas, to me, are going to be important. But you don't want to, overthrow in on that side, and that way we don't lose the front end of our primary care and day-to-day folks coming in. Another question I have is with the queue and pharmacy. Are we keeping up pretty good? I mean, it's what because I'm hearing. I heard we kind of got a handle on that, but that's what starts worrying me in these times of the holidays and stuff. If the queue gets so big, then what are we doing for those day-to-day patients that come in and stuff like that?
I haven't heard any complaints, but I will go back and talk to our clinic administrators and ask and make sure that they stay up with that, especially during the holidays.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, Councilor Buster.
Dr. Gribb, these are just comments. What Councilman Lay has already talked about is kind of fits the same thing at J. As far as providers go, we're short there, and they have been. The other thing that concerns me is the wait time, and that's what Councilman Lay had addressed a while ago. But another thing that's troubling to me is I like that we're building a new clinic, new hospital in Tahlequah. But we have a new clinic in Jay, one in Ochaleta, and different spots now, and we don't have those positions filled. My fear is when this was built in Tahlequah, we're never going to get them filled. So it's imperative that we get those filled now, not wait a year from now, because a year from now we're going to be recruiting for the positions here in Tahlequah. And my fear is we're never going to get these positions filled where I live and where he lives. So that's always my fear of that, because I can look at this thing right here and I see maybe 2 positions that we're trying to recruit for Jay. The rest of them are all WWH. Now, I know this is our hospital and I support the hospital, but we have a new clinic there in Jay and he has some up there in his area. We need to recruit for those people, for those places too. So that's my fear. And I just want to say that because this one's going to come online within 18 months to 2 years, and we're going to be recruiting probably now. So that's my fear. I just want to make sure that you're aware of it, because I know at Jay we're short. We have 2 pods for the nurses back there, and we did a tour when the new council members come in, and that one pod was completely empty, and it was built to have some providers in there, and nobody was in it. It's a little bit embarrassing to have some of the new council members walk through and nobody was in it. So anyway, I just want to tell you that you know, that's what I'm concerned about.
I think it's a valid concern that that you and any of the counselors that have new or expanded clinics in their jurisdictions should have. I mean, you know, we're going to have a big brand new clinic here soon, and we'll have focus on recruitment. You know, I'm writing down, and we're taking notes of all the concerns that you all have, and we do that every month about issues here in Health Committee, and we are putting heavy and extreme focus on trying to get the clinical vacancies that we have filled. I mean, whenever we opened up the new facilities, we that year expanded the number of providers available in each of those facilities. And so that, for a while, you know, that looked like it artificially increased our vacancy rate or our unfilled rate. And then, you know, we explained to you all that issue. And some of them we've had a hard time filling ever since then. But we are working very, very hard. We have a big event coming up soon that's going to allow us to get a whole lot of residents together that are nearing completion of their residencies. We're very, very hopeful that, you know, out of that, plus some of the things that Stephanie and her staff are currently working on, that we can get some of these filled. So those are still very, very high priority for us. I mean, everyone that goes vacant is, but when you have 1 or 2 and 1 goes vacant, it's a lot more critical than when you have 20 and 1 or 2 go vacant. So we do have high priority on those, and we'll keep it on those.
And just one more follow-up question or comment is, as I talked to some other providers that's not within our system, and I know this has been discussed before about the number of patients that our providers see, and I believe the number was 11. I just find that hard to believe that we, and I know the answer to that is, you know, we want to provide the best care. But I talk to other providers and they see as many 20 to 40 a day. Of course, I want the best care for our people too, but still, when you come into a system and you say, oh, we only have to see 11, well, that's probably all they're going to do. Anyway, I just need you to put more thought in it, and hopefully the RVU system will help that, so time will tell.
That's what I was going to say. You know, we're hoping that new contract, which besides other components to it, does have an incentivization for productivity. And productivity doesn't necessarily mean more people through the door. You know, it's been explained that if it is a very complex patient and you need to spend, you know, 20, 30, 40 minutes with them, you're going to get credited with much higher RVUs than just an earache, you know. you will need to see 20 of those maybe to get equivalent to here. So I think it will not disincentivize that sort of care that takes a lot of time to our elderly and to our sick patients that have multiple diseases, but I do think it's going to help. And you're right, we have those out there. A large number have been signed, not all yet. So over the course of the next year, we'll see if that works.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilor Shambo.
Well, I had asked the question last time, pretty much the same what Councilman Buzzard said about how many our doctors seen. So a lot of things have already been addressed that I would have asked you this time. So I just want to say that Salina is in my district, and the people are telling me it takes 3 months to get in. That's whether you have a heart condition or just want to be seen. No matter what, it's 3 months wait. So that's difficult for me to answer. Why when they ask me, hey, I have a heart condition and they can't get me in for 3 months. But I'm hoping and I have confidence that things can go a different way now. I'm kind of excited about it, and I think from everything I've heard about you, you've always done a great job where you're at, and we expect good things from you, and we know we'll get it. And I expect things to get better when we talk to our people. We can say, hey, this is what we're doing to help alleviate that situation. And, anything you can do for us in that nature would certainly make our jobs a lot easier with our constituents. So.
Sir, Counselor, thank you.
I have a comment. Yes. Go ahead, Counselor.
They said interim. Can you share the process? Are they looking to fill that permanently, or is your name in the hat?
I don't know if I can answer that or not. This is
kind of interesting.
I'm glad he's still here. I'll let him answer that.
Well, we always want to fill positions permanently, and the resignation was just tendered, and so naturally our first move is to name an interim, and we have could not have a more capable interim than Dr. Chuck Grimm. So as the days and weeks pass, we'll be looking at a permanent position. Permanent person to fill that position, but we have all the confidence in the world in Dr. Grimm.
Okay, I appreciate what you've done working with you and things, and it's just you're not at liberty to say if you're interested in that or not, huh?
I don't know if I can or not. I never know all those HR rules. I'm going to look forward to working with you all in this new role for as long as I hold it. And, I was going to kind of wait till the end, but since it's already been mentioned by someone about thanking Connie, for all she's done, I'll go ahead and say that too. This is not an easy job, nor are the jobs that each of you hold easy. You have people contacting you all the time, and we have one of the biggest health systems, tribal health systems in the country, one of the largest populations to serve in the country, and she did a very, very good job at trying to stay on top of all the issues that were thrown at us on a daily basis, and she had a good team of people around her. There are many of them sitting behind me, but some of them you never see. You see some of them in your clinics when you're going around, but I want to thank her publicly too. Like I said, I was going to do that at the end, but since it's been mentioned, let me go ahead and throw that out there right now, and I'll try to do everything I can to be as responsive to you all as she was, and if I'm not, tell me.
You excited about it then?
Excited, yes, really excited. I have a passion. I mean, for me, I've spent 26 years working for Indian Health Service, scattered in many places across the country. Never really got to work in the service area of where my tribe was, Cherokee Nation. And so whenever I retired from the Indian Health Service and got hired to work for the Cherokee Nation, it was pretty incredible for me. It was a dream come true to get to spend. I thought I might go the rest of my career and never get to work here, and I've learned a lot over the years, both educationally and experientially, and the thought that I've gotten to apply a lot of that here now for my tribe and my citizens and my people has really meant a lot to me. So I'm very passionate, and I'll do what it takes to work with you all for the length of time that I'm in this role.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and I look forward to that, and it is exciting too. New things coming.
Exciting time to be in health.
I got one other question. My mother had a doctor, and she lives at Stillwell, but she'd go to Salina because she thought a lot of this guy, and I think that he's gone into an administrative role, I believe.
I should remind everybody to turn off their phones. I usually do that now.
That's pretty good choice of tune, I'd say.
And I know who you're talking about. Go ahead.
But yeah, once they go that route, they, and that's their prerogative to climb the ladder and do that. Now, do they see less patients, or maybe not any at all?
The answer could be both of what you just said.
Now, how often does that happen? Because, like I say, I know a lot of people in the area loved him.
Yes.
And we're needing doctors. And does that happen a lot, that the good doctors get so good that they get a
Sometimes it does, and then sometimes they get into those roles and don't like it as much as they thought. Seeing patients is different than being in administration. Sometimes the pats on the back are fewer and further between. You're dealing with a lot of difficult issues, and with patients, usually almost every single one you see and walks out the door that day is very thankful. And so some people gravitate and really like that and start growing into that role more and more, and others don't. I'm not sure what his plans are. I'm going to talk to him because I know he was very well liked in that community as a physician, and people traveled, and I even had people in my family that went to see him and everything. So
does that happen? Does that happen a lot?
Well, somebody who's been in your system a long time and has kind of become a leader clinically and an opinion leader also among physicians, and he is both of those. He's been long-term here with us and knows a lot of people, and also has been an opinion leader in a lot of our meetings and things. A lot of times they do get asked to take on roles like this, to help oversee multiple programs, to help mentor new physicians in multiple locations, and and we don't have that many of those kind of positions here, but we are a big system, and so we have more than a lot of places, a lot more administrative roles for physicians, and so whenever one like that leaves one, it's kind of tough, and I'm not sure whether he'll like that and want to stay for a long time, or whether after a while he'll say, I want to go back and be, a full-time primary care doc for our people again. So.
Alrighty, thank you.
But I'll ask him.
Well,
Okay, Councilor Watson?
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Grimm, welcome back.
Thank you.
And I just want to echo what Councilman Lay, because we share that area up in there. My constituents all go to Nowata and go to Fileta, so we hear it every day, and so we're looking for your leadership to get us back up to where we need to be, so we don't have to try to find excuses or whatever. And so anyway, I just kind of wanted to let you know that I'm in full support of you, and so I hope you get to stay around, because I can't think of anybody any better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Grimm. Well, first, Connie Davis, we had a good working relationship, and I appreciate for what she tried to do. She made every effort to improve the lives of many Cherokees for all those years, and she has a good team behind her, like you said. But being executive director of the largest tribe, probably the most sophisticated health care in all Indian country, cannot be easy. And I doubt if that position lowers your blood pressure any at all. But
sort of upped it when I heard about it, I think. Yeah. My meds again.
But having you as the interim is a relief, knowing your expertise. And I was with you and Connie and Brian when we signed a joint venture there in Washington, D.C. and Rockville. And
and it is good. It's good that, you know, you're the interim. I hope you can pull off a Lincoln Riley, and we think you can. So, you know, you have our support.
Thank you.
And, you know, healthcare in all of Indian country, trying to recruit docs is not an easy thing to do. Hastings Hospital, I visit that. I have insurance, but I still go there when I need health care. When I hear these council members from the outlying areas, you know, having their concerns, you know, I'm not going to be too difficult on you today, but 6 months from now, I hope we can get a different report, because I've been in this position since the weekend, I think. So I have high hopes for you.
2 hours, maybe.
Yeah. So you know, you have our support from this end here, and there's good days ahead in our healthcare system.
It is.
And we
good
appreciate, you know, what you've done so far, and hope what you stand for.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Madam
It is.
Chair.
I tell the chief a lot of time at events, and Secretary of State, chief of staff when we're out at events. It is a good time to be working in health for Cherokee Nation. You know, there have been so many good things that have happened over the last 6 years. You know, I mean, it's just unbelievable. The growth we've had, the programs we've added, the staff we've added. We have our problems. We know it. We try to address any concerns that you all bring to us, and you know, we take those to heart. But it is really a good time to be working for Cherokee Nation Health Services, and I'm honored to get to be here right now working with all of you and all the staff that we have working for us. It is a very exciting time.
Good.
Okay, I have some questions. First off, it was reported in the Cherokee Phoenix, and I know the answer, but I want everybody listening to this to understand the answer. It was reported that the pay raise base for our physician providers was $35,000. Would you like to clarify that?
Sure. So some people took that to mean that everybody got a $35,000 raise. Everybody did not get a $35,000 raise. The base pay, and we were talking, you know, we have multiple specialists in our system, and we kind of focus when we talk about things here in front of council, or sometimes with the newspapers, about the primary care docs, because they are, you know, frontline providers in our system. They're the kinds that you all have been talking about that you have vacant right now that you want filled, and so that thing that we referenced, that was referenced in that article, said the base went from 35, went up 35,000. That in and of itself is true. The base was 160 for primary care. It went up to 195, and then there are all these other components to it. But if you were at 160 or below that, you got more than 35. If you were, you know, somewhere closer to 195, you didn't get a 35, and so it did make it sound like that many of our people got a $35,000 raise, and that just, you know, was not accurate. I mean, if you read, I haven't read it lately, but if you read it, the statement itself is accurate, but it, you know, if you haven't been in all these meetings and talking with us and knowing what's going on, it did make it sound like, you know, everyone got that kind of raise, and they didn't.
Thank you. Can you please share with us how many providers do we have for Cherokee Nation at this time?
Right now, we have approximately, I'm going to say approximately, I may be off a couple, but 120.
120?
And that are our primary care type providers. And that includes nurse practitioners and physician assistants as well. So of all the ones that you see in the different clinics that we try to recruit, that is the number, you know, that we're trying to recruit for. That 195, that new base that you heard about, now brings us into a very competitive range to be able to recruit new people right out of residencies, or really even people that have been out numerous years. When they look at the benefit system that the Cherokee Nation has, it is an outstanding benefit system. So we think that new base pay is going to help us a lot with recruitment.
Wonderful. Dr. Grimm, would you mind emailing me the number of actual physician providers and then a breakdown with the PAs and our nurse practitioners?
Sure.
I would be really grateful on that. By any chance, can you share with me since our last meeting how many providers we have lost since the last meeting?
I don't have an accurate number for you, Chairperson. I don't. I can get that for you too.
Okay. And I have a question. On our relationship with the Tahlequah City Hospital, I think we call it, what is it, the is it Northeastern?
Northeastern
Healthcare.
Northeastern Healthcare. I was wondering if you could shed some light on this with me. How much of that hospital does Cherokee Nation own?
You know, that's one of the components of the health system that I haven't been involved with in my role as deputy director for the system, but it'll be something I'm going to be getting more involved in. So I don't have an answer for you for that.
Secretary Hoskin, would you know that answer? Repeat the question. When it comes to the Northeastern Oklahoma Hospital, I guess Tahlequah City is the way I grew up with it, how much of it does Cherokee Nation own?
49%.
What'd you say?
It's 49%.
49%? Could we bring that up at the next meeting?
Dr. Grimm, isn't that correct?
I'm not sure if we own
Brian, did
any
you know that?
percent of the hospital per se. We have joint business agreements with them that we jointly run together in separate corporations. And so, you know, that specific question about ownership of the hospital, I don't know if the answer is 49 or 0, but we have different corporations that we are part owners of with them. And so, you know, that's why it's kind of a complex situation. There's the Heart Center, there's Cherokee Health Partners, which are some diagnostic imaging businesses and things like that. And so, you know, I'm just going to have to look into that a little bit further.
Sure.
I think Mr. Brad knows the answer.
I can answer some of that. We own 51% of Cherokee Health Partners, which owns a portion of Northeast Oklahoma Heart Center. We always have controlling interest in anything that we participate in.
And that is not of the hospital.
Not of the hospital itself. No.
That is not ownership of the hospital. It's of those businesses. So.
That makes more sense. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, I'm so surprised by the news and all, and I do hope you extend to Ms. Davis our best wishes toward her future and the health of her mother. And I personally would like to congratulate you on your new role.
Thank you.
And is there anything else? Oh, excuse me. Yes, I've got more to go to, don't I? We've got a new resolution under new business. Councilor Warner.
All right, this is a resolution authorizing the application to the IHS Services fiscal year 2018 Youth Regional Treatment Center Aftercare Pilot Project and the activities proposed therein. I put this in form of a motion.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Councilor Dobbins, it's our health group status report.
In the last council meeting, well, we recognize our healthcare system is growing exponentially, and it seems as though at times the communication between our providers and the health administration has not been its best at times. And so we put together a study group. Let's see, Keith Austin, Sean Crittenden, Brian Warner, David Walkingstick, Councilor Shaw, Mike Shambaugh, myself. Is that it? Frankie Hargis, who's not here. And we thought a good first step would be to get some feedback from our providers, and we thought the best approach would be to do some type of anonymous survey, and that's an undertaking to do a survey that is that's not leading, not biased, but something that's very independent, because we really want to get some real solid data from our providers. And the goal is just to increase or improve the communication between our providers and the health administration. And that in turn would improve the lives of our Cherokee citizens. So that's been really basically the effort of the groups that's been put together. We met on October 31st and then again today. And we're at a point where we're going to try to distill down to what we feel like are the best questions to put forward. And we're also going to get input from the administration, health administration. We want this to be a kind of a joint effort to really see what we can do to just help those channels of communication. And we want everybody on the same team, everybody, and our providers. You know, they're just the heartbeat of our system. So we felt like it would really be a good first step to really get a feel for what our providers, what they feel professionally and personally, and that's kind of where we're at. And our intent is, hopefully, next council meeting we'll bring it before the full council for your review and input as well. But any of those that I identified today, feel free to contact me. I welcome it. I'm always looking for input.
Good report. Thank you, Mike. Dr. Graham, I have one last question here. Is it possible for us to obtain the addresses of our providers so we can send them this survey that we want you all included in?
It's a legal question. I'm glad our attorney and or Secretary of State are here to see if we can give those out.
I think the answer is it's not disclosable information, but I think that the bigger question that's been asked, and it's a good one, and I think the more important answer is, can we do better to find out our providers that separated, why they separated, and what the issues are beyond the exit interview that we do, and to do a better job of assessing what our current group of physicians and other providers, how they're feeling about the jobs that they do, the resources they're given, et cetera. So we want to work with you on that. I don't think that shooting from the hip, or I don't think that's information we can disclose, but I think that's sort of irrelevant to the bigger question, which I think is a very good question and one we want to help the work group get an answer on. So I look forward to being involved in that a little bit if I could, and I think we can do some things to improve our knowledge base about why providers leave and the providers are here what they think. Now, we also do not want it to be lost in the discussion that we have even though we do have difficulty, we do have a very good rate in terms of turnover. We should be proud of that. And even though we should always try to do better, we should not lose track of the fact that our percentage exceeds the national average. Now, exceeding the national average is not even good enough for Cherokee Nation. We want to be even better every day. But I don't want that to be lost in the discussion either. Thank you, Dr. Graham.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Councilor Lake.
Madam Chairman. Along those lines, the compensation committee, all those meetings that you all had, were those open meetings, and can that information be shared with Mr. Dobbins and his group?
I'm not in health administration, but
I'm glad to have you back up here, Secretary.
My understanding of the compensation committee was that it was an internal work group of employees to help inform the decision making of health management, Dr. Grimm and the other leadership. So I don't think it would have been any more of an open forum than when we meet with any group of employees to get feedback, which we do from time to time.
It wasn't a structured group that was under the Open Meetings Act, put it that way. Some of our meetings are like that, others are not.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to second and made and second. All those in favor? Aye.